Hello, it's Ed with Slow Car Fix. Today I'm working on my 55 Chevy and I'm gonna cut out some stuff and weld in some stuff and do a whole bunch of stuff. Stick with me and we'll figure out what the heck I'm doing. Okay, so back to the back end of this car. I've welded in this pan and it's sort of okay. It did sort of buckle in the middle here, and one of the guys that commented said those clamps I was using caused them to buckle, and he made some recommendations on how to avoid that, but it's a little late now, so that's okay. What I need to do today is I'd like to take this piece out, this metal piece, put the deck lid back on. I said don't lift these by yourself, but I'm by myself, so that's what's going to happen. And I want to fit this piece here to the deck lid. Ideally fit both sides and then the centerpiece, or work my way from one side to the other. But I think the best way to do this is the deck lid lined up pretty good before. So I'll bolt it back on, close it down, see where this can go, and then cut the old crap out and try and start tacking some new stuff in so I can get it to go across here, and then I can build from this pan out, because I have some structure in here now, which is good, but I still have to sort of tie this all back together. So I think that's where I'm going to start. I need to cut this piece out and put the deck lid back on. Hey, it's Ed with Slow Car Fix. I'm back again working on this 55. I had to put it down for a couple of days. Got frustrating. Pretty frustrating. So let me show you where I'm at with it and what's frustrating me and what I'm going to do next. So let's have a look here at what's going on with this thing. So I've got the trunk lid back on it. I didn't record this because, well, I was mad. I've got the lower pan and the outer corners sort of affixed, self-tapped, screwed into place. I don't have a latch for this trunk right yet, so when I hold it down in the latch position, the gap is all sort of where I want it. I also have the half quarter clamped on because I need to be able to see everything go together to be able to judge where things are supposed to be for this trunk gap and everything else. And I can't do that without this quarter being on to see at least roughly where the line is going to be. I'm going to have a lot of work to do here. So if I open the trunk, there's a mess. You will note that there's no, I've had to cut this and move it around, and I just put some stuff in there. There's no inner structure here. There's supposed to be an inner structure that goes in here and ties this all in behind. I didn't know that at the time, but I do know that now, and I'm still not going to fix it. I'm going to build this inner structure after I get this sort of, I know it seems counterintuitive, but I can't make the inner structure the right shape to go behind this easily without knowing where the deck lid is going to be and where that's going to close. So where I'm at with it, I've had to cut and relief both sides. I had to use a jack and a block of wood to jack the quarter panel up to get it to where it sort of fits. It's pretty close now. Where I'm at now, I think, is that I need to cut some material away from this side and clamp on the quarter on this side so I can see roughly where it's going to go, so I can start looking at, because you see there's a gap right here where this is kind of just whatever, mangled. So I need to get the other quarter on here just in place. I'm not installing them yet. I have a ton of work to do behind the quarters. So I'm just mocking them up to be able to get the correct locations for these, because I would like to tack in these inside corners and this tail pan to the inside corners, and then the tail pan to the floor pan. I would like to be able to do that. And then once I take this meat out of the quarters here, I can take my new quarters, put them aside, and then I have a whole pile of repairs to do inside there, including the inner wheel well and the inside of that trunk piece. None of this is going to be factory correct. I don't care. I just need to get it happening here. So, and I need to take my time. That's the big thing I've been struggling with. Have to take my time and be methodical about it, because this is not conventional stuff. I'm building something from nothing because there's nothing to go off of. This was all gone. It was all, well, you can see what was left sitting on the floor here. And the inner quarters, these corners were just really nothing there. So I guess I'm going to cut some of this meat away, and then that way I can adjust this, a little bit side to side to see where that's going to go. I'm building everything. This is not the way you're supposed to do it. This is not a how-to. I'm building everything off of how the trunk fits. So the trunk fits pretty good right now. I'm going to build all this stuff to fit the trunk. Then I'm going to work on supporting from the inside and redoing all the inside of the inner quarter stuff. But I'm going to cut all this off, except for I'm going to leave, like I did on the other side, a piece in the middle so I can clamp the quarter to it and have it sort of roughly located in the right spot. That's what I did on the other side. So the quarter should come up to the center line of these holes, and it should get rid of all this mangled mess here. Should get rid of some of this, all of this. and then my janky cuts at the bottom. Should also straighten the whole thing out, make it start looking like a car. Yeah, I'll get at it. Okay, so I've got as far as I'm going to get today. Is it good progress? I don't know. It's coming along. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's the patina car for this car, it was the right call, because this car is a complete piece of shit. It is going to be good-ish. It'll be all right. This is really going to turn out to be like the car version of my 57 truck. So that's okay, because I love my 57 truck. So I've got everything mocked up. I've got both quarter panels clamped on. I had to do some rejigging. And then I've got the tail pan and the two dog leg pieces are now in place, screwed in. That's as far as I'm going to get right now. I like where they are. I'm going to have to pull the quarters off and then start fixing in behind, as well as now that I know where I'm going to put these. And I'm going to have to cut out the old crap and weld in the new crap. That's going to be in the next video. So let's check out where I'm at. One thing's for sure, I've made a mess. So this looks all right. It's clamped on. I trimmed off the last little bit that was holding it up around the wheel well underneath. And I did the same on the other side, I'll show you. But it's all looking like it's going to fit okay, which is good. I'm gonna have to trim a little bit here, because this seems to be a little longer than what I've got. It'll be interesting to see how it goes with the glass. I'm speculating and I'm guessing that by the time I go to do this glass, my original plan was to stick in the 150 glass that doesn't open. I'm betting I'm going to have to cut custom glass, because I'm betting that those holes aren't right. I could do Lexan. It's kind of cheesy. That'd be the quick and dirty fix. I will probably have to get glass cut for it, and that's okay. Or maybe I can get the stock glass for the 150 and make my own attachment points that are going to make it so it kind of fits and works. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting. Obviously, I still have to fix this giant mess, but this is the good part. Let me unclamp. So I have this fitting pretty well. Obviously, you know, it's going to change a bit once I cut the metal out and actually stick that in and recess it. So I'm going to have to play with it a bit. But when I push down the trunk like it was going to be latched, the gaps are acceptable. They're not great by any means, but they're acceptable for this car, and for it having literally nothing back here. It's not bad. Pretty happy with it. It does, you know, start narrow and taper out a little bit at the bottom. So maybe I'll have to add some metal, maybe I'll have to add some filler, maybe I'll have to add all those things. But this was just to give me an idea of where I'm at, and then I gotta try and figure out how I'm gonna section those pieces into the car, which will change things again. And I still do have some adjustment on the trunk lid. And the trunk lid doesn't fit the best. I don't think it's ever latched since I got the car, because I think that everything was all rotten, so you'd close it and it would bounce. And then the quarter panels, both quarter panels were low because there was no structure holding them, and they were sitting on the leaf perches. So that's not ideal. So same deal here. I'm gonna have to try and, like this is pretty good. When I get this guy in, I might have to cut this. There's a little tab that sits inside. I might have to cut that off and then try and move this in further. One thing I did notice is where this was hit back here, this was all hit, and it has a whole bunch of marks where they pulled it out with a slide hammer. Well, obviously there's a difference here between the car and this panel. So I'm going to take the panel as true, and I'll end up having to hammer this out, or slide hammer this out to match close to this panel, and then it's going to get a whack of filler. Not this much filler, but I'll bring it out close, and then it'll get some long strand or whatever fiberglass, some sort of fiberglass filler, which the whole car is going to need. So that's the quarter panel on this side. I had to do some rejigging over there that I'm still working on. with the two-door part. But the quarter panel actually seems to fit pretty well, and it maintained its shape. It's all good. I think that's going to be good. There's some structure pieces that go behind here that are supports for the bumper that I didn't buy yet. I'm going to have to buy them. I'm also going to have to buy these pieces here that go on the inner fender on the wheel well, because they're not very good. So I'm going to have to, once I get this sort of all marked out, I'll take the quarter back off. I'll cut off, decide where I'm going to cut it off, and then everything that's in behind it I'm going to have to work on repairing. There's a lot. It's this is a project that's going to take an eternity, but that's okay. It's my dream car, and this is the only way I can afford to do it. So bits and pieces at a time. Yeah, so I've cut out a lot of sheet metal, made a lot of mess, but overall I think that tail panel will be good once I section it in and everything. Like, I'm probably going to have to I'm definitely going to have to do some hammer work here to try and get that to fit. And then I'll probably, I don't know, either I'll cut it and butt weld it in. I don't think I'll lap it. We'll see. But you can see it doesn't fit well right here, and it doesn't really fit well right here. It needs to like come down a little bit in that spot. So I still have some planning to do with the tail pan, but the point is that the corners are where I want them. And it's really hard to gauge on this trunk lid. It looks good here, but it's really hard to gauge here when it's not closed all the way, because as you close it, it sucks in more. So I've got a boatload of work to do on this thing, a ton of welding. I'm gonna have to buy more welding wire. I knocked over my argon bottle that was for my TIG welder. I'm not TIG welding any of this. This isn't that kind of car. But I knocked over my argon bottle with my TIG welder, which was fun, and that made me angry because it broke off my regulator. My regulator's knocked the lens out of it, broke all the fittings off. So that's garbage. And yeah, that's the other end of it right there. So that was unfortunate. But anyways, the win is that the panels are all on and that I think it's going to be okay. So that's something. So the metalwork portion of this car is going to be long and tedious, and I really need to take my time and make sure I do a quality job. I got to focus on doing the best I can do with what I have. It's not a good car. It's not going to be a show car. So I still have to try and make it the best I can with what I have. And that's, I guess, the fun of it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to making more progress. I'm working a lot to try and pay for all this stuff. So the videos may be a little slow, but that's okay. Stick with me, it'll get done. If you don't believe me that it'll get done, check out my channel, because there's other projects that I've finished. So I can finish a project. This is probably the biggest one I've ever taken on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. And check out the next one when I weld in these dog legs in the back.